Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Mindy here. I hope you had an amazing weekend and you're off to the start of a fantastic week. Today I'm going to jump into a brand new release from Ariana Grande, and that is Cloud 2.0 Intense. Now, I've been surprised by some of the releases that have come out from Ariana Grande lately. There have been quite a few, like Thank You Next 2.0, God is a Woman, as well as R.E.M. But this one did not surprise me. You know, in my mind, it only makes sense that Ariana Grande and her brand would capitalize on the success seen with the original Cloud fragrance, the never-ending, the constant associations to Baccarat Rouge 540. It makes complete sense to keep the momentum going with this name and come out with a new version of the fragrance, kind of like Baccarat Rouge 540 did with their Extrait version. Makes complete sense to have Cloud and Cloud 2.0 Intense. I personally don't feel like the original Cloud smells all that much like Baccarat Rouge 540. That's just my personal opinion, and I'll share some additional thoughts on that a little bit later in this review and how I feel this fragrance compares to Baccarat Rouge 540. If that interests you, please stay tuned and I will jump right into this brand new release. Okay, the first thing that I wanted to touch on is the box. So it comes in this box that says Ariana Grande Cloud 2.0, and then there's also this beautiful image of Ariana Grande on the back. And so that is what the packaging looks like from the box. And in the box, you'll find this cloud. It looks almost dark purple to me. I believe it's a dark blue, but it's fooling my eyes a little bit. And then inside, of course, is this white bottle. I do like the bottles. I do keep them outside of the Cloud packaging just for simplicity purposes. I'm not crazy about the big cloud and how it looks on my vanity or where I store my perfumes. I think it's easier to go simple. So when I display these with my other perfumes, I do keep them just like this outside of any sort of Cloud packaging that they come with. So one thing that did surprise me about this release is that they maintained the same exact notes profile with the original Cloud. There were only 2 additions to the notes profile, and that is Ambroxan and Cashmeran. Now from what I understand, both of those notes add a little bit of an ambery warmth and ambery depth to this fragrance, and I definitely pick up on that when I smell this fragrance. So before I jump into Cloud 2.0, I really wanted to share a couple thoughts on the original Cloud fragrance. There are 2 things that I really enjoy about this one. First of all, it's kind of light and airy, but it has a little bit of a freshness weaved in. I pick up a little bit of a minty toothpaste vibe in this one, and while I'm not crazy about that, I do think it works very, very nicely in the hot days. It's a great fragrance, an easy reach, and one that makes you feel quite fresh and clean. On the flip side of that, one of the other things that I really love about this one is the Gourmand Notes that are in here. It is sweet. It's got whipped cream, it's got coconut, it's got praline in here, and being a gourmandie, I really do enjoy the way those warm, delicious notes play with that freshness that I mentioned. It comes together beautifully. This is a great fragrance and one that I do enjoy to wear. I'm not reaching for it quite as much as I'd like to, and that's partially because of the never-ending comparisons to Baccarat Rouge 540. I do personally prefer the Baccarat Rouge 540 scent profile a little bit more than this. There are some nuances that I like in that fragrance and the dupes and the clones that I've been playing with that I like just a little bit more than this. And so while I do reach for this, I don't reach for it a ton because I have others that I like to play with in my collection. Now that all being said, knowing that the notes were very similar in the new release for Cloud, I was curious if that freshness that I picked up in this fragrance would go away. I kind of secretly hoped that a lot of those gourmand notes would come more to the front and the center of this perfume, and that mintiness would dissipate there into the background or be removed from this fragrance. That being said, it is definitely here. When I spray this perfume, I definitely get the freshness there, but what I really love about this version is that some of the other things that I really enjoy seem to be amped up quite a bit. I feel like the sweetness in this one is amplified a little bit, and I love the fact that those warmer notes are added here. This one again has kind of that fresh vibe to it, and I get that here as well, but I get so much more complexity maybe, probably more so warmth in this fragrance that makes it a little bit deeper, it makes it a little bit creamier, and to my nose it makes it a little bit more desirable than the original Cloud fragrance. Again, this really does smell a lot like the original Cloud, and if you smelled this, I think you'd say, yep, that's exactly what I'd expect for an intense version of Cloud. But again, I love how that ambery warmth plays in this perfume and how those sweet notes are amped up just a little bit. If I had to choose between these two perfumes, I do think I would prefer this one over the original Cloud. I personally think I'll probably reach for this more than I did the original Cloud because it has more of that gourmand quality that I love to have in my fragrances. It has more of that warmth and depth that I love to have in my fragrances. So one thing people might be wondering is how this compares to Baccarat Rouge 540. Given the endless comparisons of the original Cloud to Baccarat Rouge 540, I certainly believe that's probably weighing on people's mind, and people are probably curious how this compares. So I have had this on my hand for about 4 or 5 hours today, and I also have Baccarat Rouge 540 down here lower on my arm. The original Baccarat Rouge 540, not my dupe or clone. I have samples of that fragrance, so I have it here. And I've been sniffing the two to see how they might be different. Now this is my impression. I find Cloud Intense to be a little bit more playful, a little bit more sweet, maybe a little bit more flirty. I find this to have that freshness that I mentioned, whereas with Baccarat Rouge 540, I get more of a sophisticated scent profile from it. It has a little bit more of a mature vibe to it. I also find that the woodiness in Baccarat Rouge 540 is a little bit more prominent, whereas in Cloud Intense it seems to be a little bit more ambiguous to me. There is a strong woody presence in my mind to Baccarat Rouge 540. The last thing that I'd say there is that, yes, while I do get a little bit of that fresh vibe here and it comes across to me like a minty toothpaste, and while it's subtle, it's definitely there for me. I do like how it plays better in this fragrance than the original. I don't get that freshness from Baccarat Rouge 540. For me, I definitely pick up in Baccarat Rouge 540 more of that medicinal smell that people call out, that smells like a Band-Aid or something a little bit more medicinal along those lines. Freshness in Cloud from kind of a minty vibe, whereas with Baccarat Rouge 540, it comes across more medicinal to my nose. I've said it before, and I'll probably keep saying it, I feel like Baccarat Rouge 540 is just a very sophisticated, classy, elegant fruit punch. It always reminds me of fruit punch. I heard that one time and I cannot get that out of my mind, but definitely more complex than just that, of course. It has that woodiness that I mentioned and a lot of character to it as well. But when I think about the comparisons between these two, I'm thinking of Cloud Intense more so as this sweet, praline, coconut, whipped cream type fragrance, whereas Baccarat Rouge 540 leans more to that sophisticated, elegant, maybe a little bit more complex, a little bit medicinal type category. Overall, I think Cloud 2.0 Intense is a great fragrance. I think it's quite nice. It's one that I plan to reach for a whole lot more in the coming months than I did reach for the original Cloud. But I would say if you liked the original Cloud, I think you're absolutely going to like Cloud 2.0. If you like a perfume that will give you compliments, I really do think Cloud 2.0 will do that. It is a gorgeous smelling fragrance. If you are a gourmandie who likes those sweet notes in your fragrances, I think this one will probably appeal to your nose. And lastly, what I'd say is if you liked the original Cloud, but you thought it was a little bit too light, a little bit too soft, maybe a little bit too airy, I do think you're really gonna like this one. Now, I personally never struggled with longevity issues with the original Cloud. I definitely could pick it up after 5 to 6 hours, but I think this one will be even more amplified. I definitely think this one sticks around. It's been on my hand for probably 5 to 6 hours today, and it is still very much there. I can pick it up. I think a lot of people are really gonna like this release. For me, it's probably an 8 out of 10 as it stands now, and one I can't wait to wear more frequently. Again, that is Cloud 2.0 Intense by Ariana Grande. Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I truly appreciate you. If you enjoyed this video on the brand new release by Ariana Grande, Cloud 2.0 Intense, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week and you have a lot to be grateful and thankful for. Until next time, I'll see you soon.